It's great to have you this morning. Now, tell us, the last time we learned that most of the club chairmen, you met with the LMC, NFF, and the sports ministry, and a decision wasn't reached, but then you have up to 6 different opportunities where the league can return. For instance, having to be in a neutral venue, and another aspect is just getting all the players, everyone tested, and then league will go on. But what everyone is saying, the league will finish. What's your own opinion about this?
Well, let me also say good morning, Yemi. Nice to see you guys this morning. Yes, I have a personal opinion, but I want to also respect the opinion of the club owners we met. Especially at the time that we had some drummers who believed that the league should be terminated, give it to this person, give it to that person. 13 matches to go, very unfair to do that. I mean, it wouldn't make any sports sense. And then they were alluding to it happening before. We know why it happened before. It happened before because we didn't have a choice. It was just a Nigerian situation. We couldn't start the league in time. We couldn't finish, and we had to send teams to the continent. This time around, we have a pandemic. It's global. It's Catholic. And people are trying to see how they can readjust. There are those who have finished because they have finished. And even if they play the remaining matches, they know who the champion will be. We have said we want to finish the league. Yesterday, I had an interesting fight, as it was, a fight in court, because the moment the National Council of Sports met a virtual meeting and decided that the sports festival could go on, and I said to myself, you are talking about a multi-sports event, over 5,000 athletes in one venue. If the Minister of Sports could superintend over a meeting where it was unanimous that he could finish the sport festival, he could host the sport festival. How much more the league, just one football event? To see that the options we have put out for the years, one venue, a quarantine situation, just the players concerned, take them to that venue, play the remaining 13 matches, and we're done in less than 4 or 5 weeks. 4 or 5 weeks, because a place like Delta could have 3 venues. You have Ole, you have Asaba, you have Asaba, and then you have what is that of it? There's another venue. You go to Abeokuta, Ijebode, Shagamu. With 3 venues, 20 teams is possible. The other view, which is also very, very vocal, is the one that says play Super 6. Ordinarily, somebody would have said Super 4. I mean, no, 4 teams go and let's start next. But Imba is on the 5th position, and Imba says, I have 5 matches to go. 5 matches, and then it will be unfair for you to say this person has won the league when you've not given the opportunity of finishing those matches. So, but it could be easier for us to do a Super 6 on top. Don't go down, because by the time you go down, you want to relegate, and then the lower league, they've not played. They've played only 5 matches. So there's even no possibility of saying, okay, we're going to promote. So just take the 6 on top, play Super 6, be done with that. And then the 4 teams are ready to represent us in the continent next year. 4 teams, because the possibility of playing the ITO Cup is in fact, is non-existent. So those are the options that we have. Unfortunately, we have not been able to arrive at a consensus, because we have to fix a date. We have to do like Europe. We have to say, okay, by June, by July, this is what we want to do. And then we can start working towards it. Our players have to be brought back to start training. You know, you have to start preparing the finances. Clubs need money. They have to budget. So that is what some of us are expecting for the sports ministry, for the NFF and the LMC to now set up a schedule that says, okay, we want to do this, by this time we're going to do that, and so on. That is where we are. But definitely, we've all agreed that we must end the league. How we're going to end it is still on the table.
All right. Okay, let me just ask you this. I mean, it's interesting to look at all the scenarios that have been put out there, and everybody wanting the league to end. But I'm going to ask, like most of the people who love football are asking, in all of these scenarios, is there a guarantee that the health and safety of these players can be guaranteed to a percent of about 1995? People will question our capacity to test all, a whole lot of this. But I'm just asking you on a personal note, do you think we have the capacity as a nation in any of these scenarios and put ourselves in a situation where we can say, okay, 95, 90, or even 100 health and safety of the players?
Sorry, Yemi, can you come again? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm asking that in all of these scenarios that you've mentioned, since most of the clubs want the league to end, which is very good, is there a situation where the health and safety of the players can be guaranteed to maybe 90 or 95%?
No, that is key. That is key. When we had a meeting of the National Council of Sports, luckily I was there to represent my commissioner. And when we were going on, and I said it was important for us to set up a health committee that will go to, people were saying go to the door and find out whether. I said, no, the door is ready. The minister has been there 3 or 4 times and so on. We don't have any problem with the facilities. What we needed was to verify the health infrastructure. Because it was also important. The deputy governor came up and said, look, we have the facilities, we could test players 1 hour before the start and so on. So if you could do that for, like I said earlier, maybe 5,000 athletes, the health issue is very, very important. That is why you cannot even say, I have a match in Kano, I have to go to Kano, I have a match in Lobi, I have to go to Lobi. No. The possibility, through the help of the health ministry, NCDC, take these players to one venue, test them like we've done in BPF, for instance. You spoke about 6 people testing positive. Thank God we are only about 2 players, so you can go ahead. Quarantine them.
Okay, so you know what? I might have to put you on hold. Apologies. I need to put you on hold. The discussion is very interesting. But we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that, we will continue with this. We'll be speaking with the chairman of Akwa United, Paul Bassi. He's been talking to us about the things happening in the Nigeria Professional Football League. But we'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll continue with that conversation. Okay, yeah. Let's continue with the conversation. Finish with your train of thoughts on my question about the health and safety of the players.
Yes, I want to agree with you. It's very key, very, very key under this COVID environment. The option we had, whether for 20 teams or for 6 teams, is to take the teams to one venue and test everybody and put them in the quarantine situation. In other words, if you have 20 teams, you need 5 hotels, maybe 4 teams per hotel. Those hotels will be decontaminated, everything about it, the bus that you use. Definitely it's going to be under closed doors. You're not going to have spectators. Then maybe get one hotel for the officials and so on. That is the situation. You cannot do otherwise. You move from the hotel to the stadium and back. It is a German thing, which unfortunately, yes, we are not Germany, but it is what is happening in Germany now. They are playing. If it is 6 teams for the playoffs, the better, because we have fewer players to deal with. How many? Maybe 20 players per team, and then maybe 10 officials. That is the option. You cannot resume the league by telling Akwa United to travel to Kano, to travel to Yobe, to play Adamawa, to go to Katsina. It's going to be nearly impossible. Whether you have 20 teams or you have 6 teams, we must go to a venue. And I went for that to say that if you go to a place like Delta, you have the benefit of Asaba, Ohara, Ole. If you go to a place like Ogun State, you have Shagamu, you have Ijebu-Ode, you have Abeokuta. Just for you to be able to fast-track the matches, If you come to Yo, which is, of course, the best stadium in the country today, you just have one very good venue. You may have to play 2 mini matches and so on. So, but it's important. That is key, that the health of the players and officials is paramount. And then you must get everybody tested. You must get everybody. You have to wipe the ball free of Kuru and so on. So those things have to be done. Thank God People are doing it in Europe, they are getting ready and so on. We could borrow relief. All we need to do is to come out with a program of action as regards dates and events that because definitely the health of the players is paramount. We cannot toy with it. If we know we cannot do that, then forget it.
You just mentioned that you need to come up with a plan and a date, and that's where my next question is going, because after the Nigerian Football Federation had their executive meeting that they had, over the weekend and all that, they mandated that they set up a committee to actually liaise with the different boards, the Women's League, the NPFL and all that, subject to when the federal government would say sporting activities can resume. And is it that they're going to wait for federal government to actually make the announcement before having a plan?
I said 2 days ago, I sat down with the federal government, the current minister, and we discussed the National Sport Festival. The minister agreed with the commissioner of the state, so the government schedule for holding the sport festival. Then, not only
I think we're finding it very difficult to hear you. Maybe we have to reconnect again so that we can continue the discussion. I mean, the question I was actually trying to ask, because we couldn't hear you properly, is the fact that, most of the leagues, because he has mentioned Germany and England and all of the leagues are actually resuming. What they had a plan, subject to government approval.
Ratification
and all that. But here we don't even have a plan. So we're now waiting for the government before we put the plan out. Why not have a plan? And then when the federal government then you know that, okay, this is our plan. So if you wait for the federal government to say, okay, sporting activities can go ahead, before you now decide to meet and have a plan. So when are you going to have the plan and how do you intend to restart? I think this is really not looking like it's going to take a longer time because you have to wait first for the government and then before you start meeting and have a specific plan.
Unless you get the answer that tells you that we already have a plan. Subject to that, I think it's not good. But then let's not preempt unless maybe the plan is not. But in case of the German model that Mr. Paul Bias quite rightly pointed out, it was out there. Everybody knew. They were liaising with the government. They were interfacing with the government. Everybody knew what they wanted to do. And I think whatever the plans that the club owners and the NPFL have towards, since they have unanimously agreed that the league must go on, then he must have a plan. And he has given us all those scenarios well put out. Rubber stamp one, go to the government with it, keep on, the health ministry will be involved, sports minister will be involved, the federal government will be involved, and interface, continue talking, let them see the seriousness that you want this league to be ended, and all what it's going to take. That when the government gives you the go-ahead, which is the question you're asking, when the government gives you, then you hit the ground running immediately.
You don't have to wait. Okay, we have Paul Bassi back with us on the phone this morning. Thank you for joining us again. You were talking about the plans, the fact that the NPFL don't have a plan yet, just waiting for the government. And of course, NFL setting up committees saying that you have to meet with this club subject to when the federal government is saying the sporting activities can resume.
Cecilia, hear me? I said 2 days ago, I sat down with the federal government. You see, because before now, we are waiting for the government. The government is the Minister of Sports who can maybe get back to NCDC or PTF and get back to us. If the minister 2 days ago can agree with the sports commissioners of all the states that the National Festival can hold subject to certain logistics, especially the health infrastructure, then let the NFF go back and tell the minister that we are ready to start. No, if you can give approval for the sports festival, 5,000 athletes at least, then let us verify the COVID infrastructure in 1 or 2 states and start the league. That is what I'm saying. And we need a plan. We cannot wait forever. Let us, by June 1st, by May 25th, say this is what we plan to do, and present it before the government. And the government will approve or will not approve, but we must have a plan. By the 25th of June, we want to start the league. Before then, clubs, you have to start training and so on. I agree with you, we need a plan. For now, nobody has said anything. But I was happy that the minister could agree that we can host the sport festival. To me, that was the biggest news I've had in months. So the league, if the festival can hold, the league definitely can hold without problems, as long as we take care of the health situation, which we can.
All right. Okay. Before we let you go, sir, I want to say thanks for all the additional inputs. Let me also ask you, a lot of people are thinking, or have been voicing out their opinion. I mean, a lot of people saying the clubs should get some form of support from the Nigeria Football Federation, especially when the news about the FIFA Relief Fund came out. First, I want to ask your opinion about it, and I'm very sure you've also seen the proposed plan of the NFF on how to spend that money. Your take on those two things?
3 years ago, when I was brought to manage Akwa United, one of the things I did at council, I used to run columns in newspapers. I decided not to talk to the media most of the time. I used to take my fights in-house. Yesterday, what I heard was very funny. First of all, I saw pictures of the NFF going to donate masks and everything to Lagos State government. I said, they shall send it to me. Then I heard all these head office in Bauchi, management salary, staff salary, super eagles, Is it the $500,000? Then forget it. Let me paint a very terrible scenario for you. Last season, we were to go and play in Maiduguri. My commissioner called me and I said, Paul, how are you going to Maiduguri? When I told him, he said, look, don't let His Excellency hear about this. You cannot go to Maiduguri by road. We have to buy tickets, Uyo, Abuja, Maiduguri, and back. In that trip alone, we spent close to 3.5 million. An average match today, whether you go by road or not, in the league, you spent about 2 million naira. At the end of the day, tomorrow, maybe the NFF will bring you 2 million, 3 million. They think they've done me a favor. I thought that money was for this period. Maybe the 20 league clubs, the other league is not even going on for whatever. But when I saw a list of how that money was going to be spent, pay management salary, pay staff salary, furnish an office in Bauchi, and do that and so on. And then, of course, forget it. Me, I'm not expecting anything. It will not amount to anything. We really need help now. We need help. That is why sometimes maybe I should be happy that state governments are sponsoring clubs, because individuals cannot. There's a club here in my state that decided to cancel the contracts of all these players because they cannot. You can't just keep players there for 2-3 months. They are not playing. They are not doing anything. They are paying them salary. It can only happen in the government of His Excellency Emmanuel, for instance, because for us, April salaries have been paid. We are not owing the players. But how long can we continue to do that? So when I heard that yesterday, I was very, very sad that the NFF has decided that money is what we're going to do with it. We're going to give it to the Women League, the junior teams, the national teams, and so on. By the time you get down to the players, maybe they'll just send you 2 million naira. You ask for what? So that is my take about that. I was very distressed yesterday when I heard that news.
All right, Mr. Paul Bassi, Chairman of Akwa United, and somebody who used to be on this side of the fence with us. And, well, still
I'm still on your side, though. I'm still on your side. I'm coming back.
It's very good having a chat with you this morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
All the best. All the best.